Hello, friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel Simply Stocks. And today I'm going to talk about the most talked about topic of today, that is Yes Bank, and what has happened to Yes Bank, a bank that was one of the largest banks about a decade back and is now uh, would be trading at only 1 rupee. So let's understand the whole story of Yes Bank and why I avoid financials. So let's get started. First of all, a disclaimer that this is not a stock recommendation, and whatever trade I'm taking is trading purely on a professional services. People should do their own due diligence and research before taking any position. And I'm not in favor or against any company that I talk about. Now, before I talk about Yes Bank, there's a small request that kindly support me on Patreon, and I'll make better videos on YouTube if you support me on Patreon. Even a $2 support from your behalf monthly, that is only 140 rupees, would help me a great deal and motivate me to put up more videos on YouTube and more interesting ones, just like the one I'm making right now on Yes Bank. And I cannot start with the join button as it requires around 30,000 subscribers, so kindly subscribe on my channel as well, as I have less than 10,000 subscribers at the moment. Now about the story of Yes Bank, and I'm going to tell the whole background and as to what has happened today and why the stock is now expected to trade at only 1 rupee. So Rana Kapoor, along with Ashok Kapoor and Harkirat Singh, established Yes Bank, and which was formerly known as Rabo India Finance Limited in 1998, with a large bank of Netherlands, that is Rabobank. So Rabobank Netherlands tied up with Rana Kapoor and his franchisee to start up this financial company. In 2003, it broke away, or he broke away from that partnership, or they broke away from that partnership and got license for banking in 2004 and started with Yes Bank. They got a lot of funds after taking their share of Robo India Finance and started the bank Yes Bank in 2004. Harkirat exited, and Rana Kapoor and Ashok Kapoor strengthened the bank from 2004 till 2008. But during the attacks of 2008 in Mumbai, uh, it was it was really troublesome for Ashok Kapoor, who lost his life during those attacks, and Rana Kapoor then took over the bank completely. He did made his wife join the company into the board, but later on the wife also did not had most of the, you can say, authority with which to work with, and it was Rana Kapoor calling all the shots. So Ashok Kapoor died in the Mumbai attacks in 2008, and Rana Kapoor held all the shots between 2008 to 2018, in which the bank did extremely well. So in 2018, it was probably the beginning of the end. Remember that between 2004 and 2008, there was a big boom in the infrastructure sector, on which Yes Bank really profited a lot, and that helped them to stay away from the crisis between 2008 and 11. And eventually, they came out trumps. And over this period of a 10-year period, after following a very aggressive lending strategy in which they started to lend virtually to everyone, and also had means to take money back from these people or these institutions, eventually the annual growth rate of the company, the profit growth, was over 35% year on year CAGR for 10 years. That is absolutely magnificent. That is virtually you are probably every 27 months you're doubling your profits. That is just tremendous, because normally 17-18% growth rate is considered very good. But in 2018, it was came to light that the bank had a lot of NPAs from investors. So there was a lot of NPAs that were taking place, but the bank did not talk about it and did not publicize it. And after the ILFS case, the ILFS fraud that took place, and the HDIL case that took place, post that. The RBI asked all banks to send their NPAs, and they had to reveal all the NPAs. Even in those statements, Yes Bank did not reveal the exact NPAs or the real NPAs, and after due diligence by the RBI, it was noticed that the company or Yes Bank was not making profits but making losses, because there were a lot of NPAs that Rana Kapoor and the management has hid from the public domain. Former RBI head, or RBI, you can say, executive director, or a large person at the RBI who was formerly at the board, R. Gandhi, was made additional director on board of Yes Bank, and immediately after, when he was made the head of, say, in that Yes Bank board, Mr. Gandhi refused to give extension to Rana Kapoor. There were more risky assets that became NPA, so the economy did not help between 2018 and 19, and more riskier assets became NPAs. The assets were, or you can say the loans that was given by Yes Bank to other entities, were to entities like SL Group, which was the Z Group, Reliance Communication, DHFL, CCD, and there were many more. So you can understand what happened with CCD. DHFL has gone completely bankrupt. Arcom is completely gone, a 50 paisa share. Then we have had issues with SL Group. So virtually they were giving loans to companies which were going bankrupt, and they were hiding all these types of loans from the public domain. So eventually they had to show very good profits. So in GNPA was, you can say, in this year, the 2020 financial year, the GNPA came out to be, or the gross NPA came out to be around 7.7%, while it was around 1.6% just about 2 3 years back in FY18. So look at the steep increase in the NPAs that took place, and which was not revealed by the bank. Rana Kapoor sold all his stake just recently, and had only 900 shares in the company. He sold virtually all his stake, and not only that, he also hid pledging of shares, which he did over these years from investors. So he did not reveal the amount of pledging he did. So there were pledged shares, there were a lot of NPAs, and the company was going into losses. The bank was going into losses, but it was showing profitability. So that was the issue, and a huge issue of corporate governance that Yes Bank was facing. Then there was further trouble for the bank. The debt on bank is currently, or I would say was, 1 lakh crore, because right now today, as it stands, we feel that Yes Bank is virtually gone. It is going to be dissolved. It's going to be merged, etc. So the debt on the bank was over 100 lakh crores. There is no profit, so how would they pay back the debt? That was the issue. The NPAs were ballooning because there were many other NPAs that were coming up. So NPAs are non-performing assets, and you don't recover them back. So that is a cause for concern as well. And the stock price nosedived from around 800 900 rupees just 2 3 years back to virtually now it's going to be 1 or 2 rupee in a few days time. It's on a circuit right now as I'm making this video, 15% circuit, and going further down. Failed QIP, it was also failed QIP was one of the, you can say, precursor that people or investors had to understand that the stock is not going to perform, and they are having lack of funds, and even currently the lack of funds is immense, and currently they require around $2 billion to process the banks, or to work as a going concern. So one has to take that into account. Eventually the RBI has intervened, and the withdrawal limit has been set, or moratorium has been set at around 50,000 rupees per person who has bank account in Yes Bank. So RBI eventually had to intervene, and they intervened early morning. And what has they have decided is, from today onwards, it is going to be a withdrawal limit of only 50,000 rupees, similar to what happened with PMC Bank. And we don't know where the contagion of such kind would stop. So the withdrawal limit has been set, and it seems like the bank is Well, the investors are not going to get their money, so they are not going to get anything out of this bank, but the depositors will get their money back, but over a period of time. So they don't need to they don't need to worry about it. Probably over the next 2 3 months, 6 months time, they'll get their whole money back, and probably the bank is going to be merged with some other entity or going to be dissolved. That we'll see later on. So, what are the learnings from these kind of, you can say, revelations that are taking place in the financial industry? Uh, and this is my call, and this is my understanding of what I have learned over the last 8 9 years in the stock market is that you should never fall in trap of low prices. That's the first thing, because I have understood, and I was going around some of the broking houses here or the financial institutions, and I met some people, especially people who are over 50 60 year old. They started talking about Yes Bank, that it's not going to fail. How long, much can it fall? It's at 30 rupees. I bought at 35, 37. It's very low. Look, it's now at 50 rupees, 60 rupees, and I'm going to make big money. Yes Bank is going to come back. And now look what has happened. So never fall into the trap of buying something cheap or looking at buying something cheap. This can easily what can happen to you, and you can lose all your capital. So rather than making 10 15% losses, you could lose everything. So that's one point that you need to understand. Look at fundamentals and the price of the stock together. So price doesn't go like that. So something like a GVK par, if it's trading at around 3 rupees, 3.5 rupees, there could be some reason for it. Something like a Manpasand beverages trading at 8 9 rupees, there's a reason for that. And so on and so forth. There are many companies, Suzlon for that instance, and now Yes Bank. So you cannot go ahead and think that okay, it's at 1 rupee, it's going to fail. What if it comes back? Then one will become 100 or 1,000. So let me buy into it. What if one become 20 paise? That also happens in this market. Look at where Reliance Communication is. So you can always lose 100% of your money in search of that multi-bagger. So look for compounding stories. Do not buy something you do not understand. That's also something I have understood. So what happens is, I don't understand financing, I don't understand lending, and that's why I never got into Bajaj Finance, I never got into Bajaj Finserv. And if you are my subscriber over a period of time, you would have understood that I don't make many videos on banks or financials. And the reason behind it is, if I'm not able to understand much of it, then why would I go ahead and teach something about that industry to others? Second point is, if I am not comfortable buying something, then I cannot recommend anyone buying it. And that's why I completely say no to financial institutions. Yes, there are Bajaj Finance, Finserv, HDFC, franchisee that has done extremely well. But look at all the banks, financial institutions that have gone down or gone under the ground over the years. Look at DHFL, where it was and where it is today. Look at Edelweiss. Look at any other financial institution. They're nowhere to be seen. So they were doing extremely well during that time when lending was easy and people were getting their money back, or companies were getting their money back. But look at where they are. So it's a very risky asset or an investment to get into. Rather than that, you can buy simple businesses at reasonable value. So don't buy a DMart at 130 times, buy a DMart at 80 times, 90 times earnings. Don't buy a Bata at 60 times, buy Bata at around 40 45 times. Let everything correct. Look at where something like an FL India or an IRCTC right now. Yes, IRCTC is having a lot of trouble with respect to the coronavirus and so many other things. But if it comes to 1200, 1300, I'll be a buyer. It is coming there. So around 1200 to 1000 will be a very good buy. Look at where something like an FL India is. Tremendous business if you understand that, or if you get into the nitty gritties of it. It is a magnificent business, and one can get into it at around 1500, 1400. These are very good levels to get in. These are the companies that are going to come back. Look at Aisha Motors, now at 17,000 and going up. So it has made about bottom and coming up. Yes, these are already stories that have played out, but look at the franchisee, look at how it has done. Look at something like a Pidilite, which everybody said was expensive. Now look at where it is in the green, where others are sulking. So look for simple businesses that you know about. Pidilite sells Fevicol, Eicher sells Royal Enfield, and so on and so forth. Look, Bata sells, you can say, shoes. So minimal risk, maximum reward is my funda, as you can call it. Don't take a lot of risk, but have a better reward. So buy good businesses with virtually zero, you can say, debt on books, and only put 5% of your total investment. So that's why I keep saying that put only 5% of your total investment. So if you would have put in 100 rupees into the market and put in only 5 rupees into Yes Bank, you would have lost only 5 rupees. Other 95 would have done well, or at least you would have had an understanding that 95 would have become 80 or 70 and it would come back. So one needs to have an understanding of the business that you're buying into, and also don't buy risky assets in the or risky stocks in the stock market. So this was my video on Yes Bank. I hope you like it. Please like and subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so that you can get my video straight away when I post it. And hopefully tonight at 8:30 p.m. I'll be live. So have your questions ready and I'll answer them. Thanks a lot for watching.